Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is normally where I take a particular product and a particular trick or creator, and I do a deep dive into their products, and I kind of basically talk about what's good and what's not so good. I'm doing something slightly different this week. I'm going to do a recap of some of the best tricks that I saw at Magic Live. I'm going to do a recap of some of the best tricks I saw at Magic Live. For those of you that don't know, I've just spent the week at Magic Live. I flew out to Columbus, which is where the P3 Magic Theatre is. I spent 2 days filming 8 projects. That has to be some sort of record. 2 days filming 8 projects in Columbus, literally all day in the theatre, and then in the evening going out and getting live performances. Did that over 2 days, then flew over to Vegas and spent like 4 days demming on the stand for Penguin Magic, standing next to the legend himself, Nick LaCoppa. So I had a fantastic time and I got a chance to see some amazing magic. This is magic that I will be reviewing in the upcoming weeks and months, but I wanted to kind of highlight some of the stuff that I saw, just so you know what to look out for. So, without further ado, let's talk about some of the best tricks that I saw at Magic Live. Now, in first place, I'm going to talk about a penguin item. When I say first place, there's not a first place, second place. This isn't like a list of the best tricks at Magic Live. It's just a list of the cool stuff that I saw. But the first one that I talk about is a penguin product. And I saw a lot of penguin products because I was on the penguin stand. And although I was in the dealer hall, I didn't have too much time to go around and look at the other dealers. So bear that in mind, but I did see a fair bit. However, having said that, the first thing I saw was a penguin product, and it's called Brainchild by Kyle Purnell. Now, this was a launch at the actual convention. It's not on their site yet. I have spoken to Nick, and he says that it should be on their site soon. You want to look out for this. Brainchild is absolutely incredible. It's by Kyle Purnell, who I think is one of the best creators of magic in the world anyway. And what it is it's basically, I watched Nick do this so many times and he's sold out. Then he had a whole bunch more come in and he almost sold out again. What it is basically is it's a deck of cards and you spread through and you have somebody think of a card. There is no force. It's a different outcome every single time. So they think of a card, right? And then what you do is you mix up the deck. The card is genuinely lost in the pack. And then what you do is you turn the deck face up and you're starting to deal cards onto the table. But you're asking them questions and they're giving you answers. And whatever the answers are, you're dealing those cards to the table. And there is no, it's not like when Nick told me about this first of all, I was like, oh, that sounds a bit dodgy, but it's not. You can ask them, it's presentational. You can ask them any questions that they want to. It's just an interesting way to get them to a particular number in the deck rather than just saying name a number. So like when Nick was doing it, it was like, give me your full name. We'll spell whatever your full name is. So in my case, it'd be Craig Arthur Petty. So you go C-R-A-I-G, A-R-T-H-U-R-P-E-T-T-Y. Fantastic. What was the name of your school that you went to? You deal that. You can ask them whatever questions that you want to, which presentationally is really cool. And I actually prefer that to name a number. And then eventually the last question is, what's the value of the card? And they tell you the value of the card and you deal that. And when you get to the final, when you've asked the final question, the final card that they deal down is their card. Now, bear in mind, you don't know the card. Because of how the method of this trick works, they can think of any card. You don't know the card, but it's always going to be at the number that they ultimately end up on, which just baffles the mind, if you ask me. But then you put that card to one side, you show all the other cards. There's no duplicates or anything in there. They're all different. You show the fronts and all the backs and absolutely everything. And then you just say, of course, it was predetermined that you know that that was the card you were going to pick because that's the only red card in the pack and all the others are blue. And they turn over the card that they thought of, it's red, all the others are blue, and immediately they can examine the cards. And when Nick was doing this, he was absolutely destroying people. Of course, he was just leaving cards on the table. and they would just be completely examined, which was amazing. But even though everything's completely examinable, the reset is about 15 seconds, if that, and you're ready to do it again, and it's a different outcome every single time. So every single time it's a different outcome. So it's like a thought of card at a freely chosen number, where the only card in the deck has a red back, and everything is examinable. I mean, isn't that the holy grail? That's incredible, right? I'm going to be reviewing it soon. I'm just waiting for it to go on Penguin. But look out for this. It's absolutely killer. Now, the next trick I want to talk about in position number 2 is a similar trick to that. This is something that's very similar to what I just talked about. And to be honest, I love this trick, and it's by one of my favorite creators of magic. And when I review it, I'm going to give it a great review. But I think that it's slightly not as good as Brainchild, and a very similar a very similar effect. So this is called Miracle One, and it's by Christian Grace, and it was getting a soft launch at the Vanishing Ink stand, which, by the way, was absolutely incredible. The stand, it was just unbelievable, ridiculously sized. And what it was is, Christian has 2 decks of cards on the table. He says that you can do it with 1 deck, but he likes to do it with 2. The way he demonstrated it with me was with 2 decks. And the whole idea is that you have 2 decks of cards, a red deck and a blue deck. And you have somebody pick a card from the red deck, you put it down to one side, you then open up the blue deck and you have them give you a number from 1 to 30. You very cleanly deal down to that number, okay? And when they deal down to that number, you put the card to one side, and they name, and the 2 cards match is basically what it is. The 2 cards match. So it's a card at any number, and 50% of the time, not all the time, but the majority of the time, the back of the card in the blue deck will be red. So it's very similar to Brainchild in that they pick a card, and the card is at a particular number that they name, and it's the only one with the red back. Right, it's very similar in effect, right? The difference is with Kyle's version, they can literally think of any card. There's not a force there, so they can change their mind if they want to, which means it's a different outcome every single time. It's not a different outcome every single time with Miracle One. That's something to bear in mind. Also, the Kyle Purnell trick can be examined, and Miracle One can't be examined. That's something else to bear in mind. But it looks ridiculously clean. It looks ridiculously clean. When you watch Christian do it, it's just like, I'm going to deal down. And a lot of people coming up to me at the Penguin stand and saying, have you seen Miracle One? It's amazing. Christian is incredible when it comes to creating magic. He's incredible when it comes to coming up with stuff that just blows people's mind. And I can't wait to get this onto a review show and show it you. I think it's really, really, really good. And I think it's a really clever method for what Christian's trying to achieve. The only thing is, something else came out at the same convention that has a very similar effect. Totally different method, completely different approaches, but the effect is kind of similar. So there's that to bear in mind. But Miracle One is great. I mean, we all know Level 1 was amazing and Switch 1 was amazing. He's going to do very well with Miracle One because it does look really good. Okay, so we're going to flip back over to Penguin again now, and we're going to talk about Flip Balm. Now, Flip Balm is coming out really soon. I'm a little bit biased with this one because I am involved in this project, but Flip Balm is so good. So Flip Balm is by Seth Race. Now, if you don't know Seth Race is an absolute genius, and Seth created the gimmick for Flip Balm, and he had a really nice routine for it as well. And when I went to Penguin a few months ago to Columbus, they gave me it and they said, hey, this is the trick. Can you have a think about what else you could do with it? And I fell in love with the gimmick. As you know, on the flight on the way back from Columbus, I was just playing with this gimmick the entire time, and I was like, oh, we can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this. And I was just coming up with so many really cool ideas. And I remember having a Skype call, a Zoom call with Sean Dunn, and showing him all of these things. And he's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's so good. That's so good. That's so good. Yeah, let's include that in the project. So I'm now fronting the Flip Barn project. So I'm the person that you'll see on the trailer when it goes on the website. The live performances are by me. Not all the routines, but the majority of the routines are by me as well. And it's just a really cool gimmick that you can add to any lip balm, to any chapstick, that allows you to perform absolute miracles. You know, my favourite routine, my two favourite routines, is a colour changing knives routine, which is really good, where you borrow two chapsticks, one that's red and one that's black, and you do a colour changing knives, but there's no paddle move or anything like that because it's a different method. I've also got this version of Assy Win's double exposure, but with a chapstick, which is just insane, where you give somebody a chapstick, just an original flavour black flap chapstick. You get them to think of a flavour, and you then get them to hold the chapstick, and you take a picture of them with it along with all of their friends, and you change the chapstick to whatever flavour they're thinking of, and then they look back at the picture and the picture has changed as well. When I was doing live performances for this in Columbus, we were having people screaming, like running away, like old school David Blaine reactions. Dalton Wayne was there with me along with Nick Boper, and they were just watching me perform this over and over again. I was performing it like groups of guys, like 4 or 5 guys, and they were just screaming and running away with a chapstick in their hand. Like, it just gets insane reactions. It's a perfect everyday carry because you just put it on your chapstick in your pocket and you're good to go. But it also looks very organic, and it's good enough to pull out a natural gig. So I'm really, I can't wait for people to see Flip Barn. I've been gigging it for a few months now, and I absolutely love it. It's by Seth Race. Seth is an absolute genius. I believe that Penguin will be bringing it out soon. It was a complete sellout at Magic Live. Like, no, it sold out like almost immediately. So, and that should tell you, you know, I was demming it and people were buying it, and it's just a really fun trick. So there you go. Flip Barn by Seth Race. Look out for that. It's really good. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is Melt Card by Michael Chatelain. So Michael Chatelain was at Magic Live, and he was performing Melt Card, which is just really good. It is available now through all the Magic dealers. I'll be reviewing it on the show at some point, but it looks so weird. Basically, you've got a card and you've got a bill, or you can do it with 2 cards. And basically, it looks like it's an animation. It looks like you're holding that card and the bill just melts down through the card and then melts back up, but you're not doing anything. There's no visible manipulation of anything. It's a really weird, trippy thing to experience. I can't really say anything else out about it. It's really good. It looks really incredible. Now, I'll be honest with you, full disclosure, I don't know the method. I've got one. I'm going to be reviewing it and learning it so I can perform it on the review show. I don't know the method. It fooled me completely. I don't know how practical it is, but it was very, very good. So it's well worth checking out because I saw it in the flesh and I was blown away. If you want to leave it for a full review, that's fine. I can't talk about the quality in terms of how good it is. I don't know, but it looked absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's Melt Card by Michael Chatelain. Okay, so we've got another Kyle Purnell trick now, and that's Big Picture by Kyle Purnell. This one's through Vanishing Ink, not through Penguin Magic, and it is wow. Now, if you saw my interview with Kyle Purnell a few months ago on Talk Magic, then you'll know that I was very, very impressed with this when I first saw it. He gave us a sneak peek about this about a year ago. It's finally coming out now, and it's really, really good. It's 1 deck of cards, 1 prediction, or 2 predictions, and you're able to match. It's very difficult to actually describe what it is. I'm going to be reviewing it very, very soon, but it's basically a prediction of a freely chosen item. So they choose an item and you've predicted it. The method is really out there. There's a lot of stuff going on with it, including something that I've explored in the past, and I've never seen this principle used in this way. And it blew me away, in all honesty. It actually did blow me away. When I learned the method and I learned how it worked, I was like, oh, wow, why didn't I? You know, like sometimes you get that whole, why didn't I think of that thing? That's what was going through my head when I saw this trick. I was like, damn, why didn't I think of that? I mean, Kyle's on a roll at the moment. I mean, he's just brought out an incredible packet trick, Rainbow Road with Penguin. He had two of the best tricks of Magic Live, even though he wasn't there, with Big Picture and Brainchild. I just think that the guy is on an absolute roll at the moment. And Big Picture is a really great gaff deck. Like, it's really good. And when you look at it and you understand the method, you're going to be like, damn, that's clever. That Kyle Purnell is a really clever guy. So yeah, well worth checking out. I'm going to swing back over to Penguin again now. Now, this is something that had its Magic Live debut at Magic Live. It had its debut at Magic Live, but it is available on the Penguin site. And that's The Awakening by Dan Harlan. Now, The Awakening is basically Professor's Nightmare, but with a completely different method. And what's funny about this is that Nick was performing it on the stand for basically like 2 or 3 days. And he was just fooling the pants off me again and again and again. I was watching this and I was like, how is he doing this? This just doesn't make any sense. It's basically Professor's Nightmare, but imagine Professor's Nightmare where you don't have to do any moves. You literally show the big rope, the middle rope and the small rope, and they instantly change so they're all the same size, and your hands are just completely free. And then you just rub them and they go back to the same size. They go back to different sizes. That's what we have here. It is so good. And the gimmick is so ridiculous. You just wouldn't think that... I was watching it, right, and I was fooled completely. And what was going through my head was magnetic rope and sort of press studs in the rope or something like that. I was completely wrong. When I saw the method, I realized just how badly I was fooled. And when Nick showed me the method and I told him I was fooled, he said he had a similar experience because he was watching Dan perform this for years and years and years and didn't know how it worked and just assumed it was magnets. And then when he saw Dan actually explain how it worked, he realized he was completely wrong. The gimmick is ridiculous. You would never think about using this gimmick. This is typical Dan Harlan thinking. And Nick Lacopa uses this in every single stand-up show he does. Dan Harlan uses this in every single stand-up show he does. And the reason is, it is such a visual trick. There's no moves, there's nothing to cover. You literally just take the 3 ropes and they can become the same size. And you can do it over and over again with no moves. It looks so clean. You get a full script from Dan about, a full scripted script so that you can perform it exactly the same way that Dan does. This is the sort of trick that would work in a kid's show. It would work in close-up to bigger groups of people. It would work in parlor, it would work on stage. It's just a really cool routine, and it's something I'm very excited about because I can't wait to start performing it. So yeah, it's called The Awakening. It's one of my favorite tricks of Magic Live. Okay, so next I want to give a big shout out to Mir Yedid. Mir Yedid obviously runs my magic, and I've done a review show special on Mir in the past, and he's one of the nicest guys in Magic. I am going to be interviewing him for Talk Magic at some point soon, but Mir Yedid is incredible. Now, he had a number of new items on his stand, and I don't want to go into too much detail on them because I think probably the next review show special I do, or definitely in the next couple of weeks, is going to be on these items from Mir. So I don't want to go too much in depth with it because I was just blown away. Like, I was completely blown away by some of the stuff that he's got coming up, and I don't want to spoil the reviews that are coming soon. But if you want to see more, they are on his site as well. You can go check them out. There's one thing in particular that was just incredible. All of it was really good. There's one thing that's just incredible. All I can tell you is look out for the review show special. It's coming soon. Okay, so full disclosure, I didn't see this, but it's the thing that everybody is talking about at the convention. Tannen's had a self-levitating table on display at Magic Live. They had a table that floats. I don't know anything about it. I wanted to bring it up because this is a collection of things products at Magic Live that everybody was talking about. Everyone was talking about this thing from Tannen's. I have no idea what it is. Every time I went over there was a massive crowd, and unfortunately I didn't get a chance to see it. But hopefully somebody who was at Magic Live can put something down in the comments down below. All I know is when I was on my little booth at Penguin, people were coming over and saying, have you seen Tannen's? Have you seen Tannen's? Have you seen that thing at Tannen's? So I have to find out more about this. I'm going to go and check out the Tannen's website soon, because I don't know what it is, but apparently it's a self-levitating table. Okay, next up, and I can't remember the name of this trick. I think it's called Imagine. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's called Imagine. And it was on the Alakazam stand. Harry Nardi was there running the Alakazam stand, and he's turning into a beast of a demonstrator, by the way. And it's a new release by Harry and Peter Nardi. So, I mean, how cool is that? Father and son releasing a joint release. They did it with Contactless last year. They're doing it this year with, I think it was called Imagine. Absolutely incredible. Basically, you've got this deck of cards, and every single card and every single face is different. It's like a collection of 52 completely wacky cards. Like you bought 52 novelty decks of cards and you just cram them together into one deck. And he gets various different people to pick a card, and he tells them every single card. It's a different card every single time. And just when I saw that, I was like, that would make a really good big table trick, because you could get multiple people to pick a card and you could tell each person what the card is that they're picking. It would be really engaging to a group of people. Half of the battle when you're performing to a big group is to get everybody engaged. This would be an amazing way to do that. But just when you think that's over, you get somebody else to pick a card. He puts it into their hand so they can see the back. He shows the face. He then puts it into their hand, and then the face vanishes off the card while they're holding onto it. He puts it onto the face of the deck, and now every single card has vanished on the front and the back, and you can show both sides. Every single card is completely turned blank. I mean, wow, right? Wow. I mean, that's just not me that thinks that. That's like, wow. And it gave the routine a big ending, because when he was performing it to me, he was getting loads of people to think cards, and he was telling people every card they were thinking of. And then just when you kind of like, okay, this is really good, the entire deck turns blank. It was a great trick, like a really great trick. I really enjoyed watching that. So I don't know when it's coming out. It's an Alakazam trick. You'll have to check with Alakazam. I'm sure it'll be coming soon. It was by Harry and Peter Nardi, and it was killer. I wanted one, but I didn't get a chance to get one. It was sold out before I could get one. Okay, and the final thing. I mean, there were lots of other products. I'm sure I didn't see anything else that really kind of grabbed my attention. But the final item that I want to talk about, and I am biased and I don't care, is Keymaster by me. And it was one of the reasons that I was on the Penguin stand. I was there demonstrating Chomp and demonstrating Keymaster and demonstrating the stuff off Flip Palm. And you know what? The reactions that I was getting from Keymaster were just through the roof. People were just, it sold out. You know, we took an absolute ton of them and it sold out, which is great. I mean, when a product sells out, that tells you on the right track, right? It was just so well received. I love that, you know, people like Magic Belay were coming over and going, oh my gosh, I need that immediately. That is really good. And the new Keymaster, I will be talking about it in the weeks and months to come. I'm going to be doing a review show special fairly soon on it, but there are massive differences between the new Keymaster with Penguin and any other version of Keymaster that you might have seen. The big thing about the version with Penguin is there's 10 routines. The original Keymaster just came with one routine. This has got 10 routines, all completely eclectic, totally different, and they routine together into like a 10, 15, 20-minute act that hangs on your keychain that you can do anytime, anywhere, or you can do them all individually. For the first time in a long time, the keys are supplied uncut. I'm a big believer in the keys being uncut because it allows you to cut them to the shape of your own house key. Plus, personally, I like using uncut keys. I think it looks better. And the keys look so good. They look just like keys, and the routines are the real killer. I'm so proud of this product. I'm so proud of what Penguin have put together with this product. The tutorial, the packaging, the actual look of the keys. One of the issues with every other version of Keymaster is the keys are slightly too big. When I first created Keymaster, I didn't think they were too big because I've got very big hands. But the feedback that I got from a lot of people is the keys were too big. So we've shortened the keys, made the holes slightly smaller, and they look so much better. And yeah, I mean, it's now available on the Penguin site. You can go check out the demonstration, the trailer. Dalton Wayne did an incredible job with the performance of this, like the trailer. He put the trailer together. He did an incredible job. I'm so happy with what he put together. And yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that I got a chance to re-release Keymaster with Penguin, and I'm so glad it sold out, and so many people were saying so many really nice things about it. So for everybody that came over to Magic Live and came and bought Keymaster, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. So there you go, guys. That is another video in the bag. Slightly different review show special this week. I wanted to recap some of the stuff I saw at Magic Live that really kind of shot out to me as a really cool trick. You can go check them out, you know, Vanishing Ink, Penguin Magic, My Magic, all these different places. You can go check out this stuff. I'm sure there was more, but I was behind the booth an awful lot, so I didn't get a chance to see everything, but those are the things that stuck out for me. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm going to be doing a few more videos on Magic Live in the coming weeks and months. But once again, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you want to find out more about the NETRIX, then please go to www.thenetrix.com, and I will see you again soon on Monday with another video. Thanks for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.